In this lesson, we will continue learning about the other array methods. The next array method is forEach. ForEach. We use the forEach method when we want to execute a function for each element of the array without returning anything. So when we use forEach, it doesn't return anything, but it does something like updating the values, or we use it most time for updating values or for logging. For example, let's add the word active to the name of all active employees. So here is our active employees. So active employees, and for each of them, we want to add active word. So our arrow function, our parameter, employees. So we want the name of employee be the previous name plus active, one space, one character space, and active. Then we want print the name of all employees. So our all employees is employees array. So for each of them, we want to print their name. So again, our arrow function. So for each employee in this array, in employees array. So we just say we want to do this. For each doesn't return any value, just do something like updating or logging. So here we are going to log the name of employee. Okay, so for each, we use for each when we want to update the values or for logging, printing something in console. So let's try to compile this. Let's get the comment out other consoles. Okay, no other console. So this one here. So let's compile. Oh, sample node sample.js. Here, see, we update each value. Here we update the name of employees, active employees. See how we used the forEach method to update values and log information. The next method is find method. The find method returns the first element that matches a condition. So it will return the first one, the first match. Let's find the employee, the first employee whose job title is manager. So let's make a new variable manager. So employees, all employees array. So we are going to find in this array what we are going to find our arrow function. So any employee, if its job title is equal manager. Okay, so let's console this and print manager. So let's comment out this and see, we can't compile this file because of the find, because the find needs the version of ES 2015 or later. So to compile this, we need to add like this. Library, our target library, and we add ES 2015 and DOM. Now it compiles, then run. This is our employee, which employee is her job title is manager. Now let's try, because this is manager is an object, so let's try to access the name property of this object. So let's try to do that. And here we see error. It says manager is possibly undefined. So manager is in type of employee. The type is employee, and it can also be undefined if no match, if this method find cannot find any employee. So on that case, so manager possibly it can be undefined, and we will get runtime error. So what's the solution? So when we are not sure, if an object, this object or property or method exists, or it might be null or undefined, we just add here question mark, because we are not sure this manager will not be undefined. Possibly it's undefined. So this is called optional chaining. So To handle this safety and avoid runtime errors, we use optional chaining. Optional chaining is used when we want to access properties on objects safely, especially when we are not sure if that object or that property or that method exists. Maybe it, it be null or undefined. So the solution is just this. We add question mark, and this means if manager exists, just give me its name. So if nothing is found, it will return the special value undefined. So if it can't find any manager, so it will not give a runtime error and it will return undefined as a special value. So let's try to compile this again. Here we get that employee, the name of that employee we want. So in array methods, we learned these methods: filter, map, reduce, sum, every, for each, and find. And there are other methods also, like sort, sorting the items inside the array. Also, there is a slice method which will slice our array. We can learn them easily, but the most useful methods are these. Filter, we use filter when we use filter to get all elements from that array that match to a condition, and it will return an array which is the matching items inside on that array. Then if we want to transform each element in array, we use map method, and it will return same array, but the elements are transformed already. And we use reduce if we want to calculate something like sum or average or maximum, minimum, or any other calculation which combine all elements. We use a reduce method, and it will return only single value. And when we want to check our condition, if it match at least to one element or all elements, we use sum and every methods, which they will return true or false. And for each method, we use to execute a function for each element. It doesn't return anything, it just do execute something. We use it for updating values, or we use for logging. And we use find method when we want to get the first element that match a condition. And it will return element or it will be undefined. So in the case of undefined, we used optional chaining just by adding a question mark. Maybe it has many properties. So after the name of each one, we will add question mark so we don't get runtime error.